Good afternoon, Magister. We are the group number 2, integrated by Talia Zambrano, Melanie Rivera, Michu Quintanilla, Kaya Ramirez, and me, Natalie Rueda. We choose the topic Visual Learning Style for Adults, and our activity will be focused on university students with a pedagogy career, with the objective to highlight the importance of visual learning styles in the adults' learning process. To next, my classmate, Kaya Ramirez.
Okay, good afternoon, dear Manchester. I am going to talk about the step 1, pre-work. And the objective of this step and this activity is introduce to the topic of visual learning style for adults. The activity is a video activity. And the students are going to watch a short video that address the issue of learning styles. And students must listen to or view the content and reflect on how this information relates to their personal learning experience. And finally, the students answer the following questionnaire in Google Docs. The questionnaire have questions about the video, why did Jonathan get an F on this test and despite the student hard. And this questionnaire have 5 questions. The step 2. The step 2 is sync in activity. The objective of this activity and this step is facilitate a group discussion on the visual learning style and allow students to share their findings and opinions. The activity is a brainstorming. And the students will have access to the Jamboard platform. The students will be encouraged to share their views on how they believe the visual learning styles. In this platform, the students write the concept, their name, and the important ideas about the video and the visual learning style. It's important to know the different learning styles for adults in order to focus on visual learning. This platform, the students can use different resources.
Good afternoon, Magister. Step 3, whole group application. In this step, teacher shares a sideboard link application. The students interact with the peers, and ask questions that they didn't understand in the previous step, so that the teacher can help them dispel their doubts. For example, in the first square, I don't think visual learning is important. And the second square, how can you tell if I am a visual learner? And the last square, I would like to know more about visual learning. What activities can be done using visual learning? This activity is important for an effective and meaningful teaching learning process.
Okay, step 4, breakouts. In this step, the activity will be carried out using Zoom. Here, the teacher will divide the students into small groups, where the teacher will assign group coordinator will lead and guide the other classmates. How group members must create an educational game on the celebrity.com platform related to the topic of visual learning. And students can choose any of the options offered by the platform. And at the end, the students must put in practice the game with whole the classroom. The activity will help both the students and the teacher to measure, to evaluate the knowledge that they have acquired so far. Below, you can see the activities created by the both groups. By 2 groups. Thank you.
That's all, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Step 5 share out. And the goal of this step is to facilitate interaction and exchange of ideas among students. In this step, the chat feedback model would be applied. And here we have an example of the work exercise in above. And the Padlet tool was used where the student present their conclusion and result of the activity seen previously. Answering the question related to the topic, the students share their opinion and conclusion of result of the activity. The students share their opinion and experience about the visual learning, their own learning process as we see of the screen. They will help each other with suggestion. They will ask to better understand the words seen previously. And lastly, they will comment on the strength of the words seen of the possible opportunity for improvement. Thank you.
Okay, for the step 6 of review and discovery, first the teacher is going to show a short video that is related to visual thinking, that is an important tool for visual learners. Here there is the video, and with it there are some questions. That how the teacher is going to present the video to the whole class. The students are going to answer it with a combination to the teacher. So if there is any question related to that, the teacher is going to do some feedback. After that, to show how to do a visual thinking, the teacher is going to share this link that is AutoDraw, where he's going to explain step by step how to create a visual thinking. Here, there is the final template that the teacher is going to do, and some topics, and some important point that the teacher has to explain to the students. It is the students can learn, can understand how a visual learner think and how they learn, and at the same time how to create a visual think template. Then for the assignment instruction, the teacher is going to share the code for the Google Classroom, where the activity is to create a lesson plan. This is the activity in the lesson class. Here we have the objective, that is to develop the ability to create an effective lesson plan. Specifically for visual learners, there is the instruction where the students are going to divide in some small groups. They are going to introduce the concept of visual learners, then give and provide an overview of the components, then do the components of the visual learning, and they are going to collaborate between them. Finally, we have the rubric where they can know how to do the activity, where they are going to be graded. We have 4 points: the excellent, good, fair, and insufficient. And the final marks, the activity is going to be under 20. And for the final step, we have the reflection. Here, the teacher is going to share a link in Canvas for a whiteboard, and the students are going to write some comments about the class. Here is the whiteboard. There is the reflection about the feelings and thoughts that the students must have. Here are the sticky notes that the students can use and some connectors. In the first step, we have the contents. That is some message that the students must give about how the content were in the class, the methodology, if the activities that were developed in the class were easy or difficult to understand, and the conclusion, how do they feel about, how do they think about the class, and if they feel that they have to give a message to the teacher or to the classmates. And finally, they can also rate the class with some stickers, because maybe some of them, they don't want to write something and they only want to show how they feel. Also, this is like something related to the topic that is for visual learners, because they are showing in a visual way how they feel about the class. And that is all. Thank you.
Okay, interesting. Sounds interesting. Someone else? Nobody else?
Nobody else.
Okay. My darling. Could you show me again the topic, the name of topic, please?
Okay, is visual learning styles for adults.
Okay. Okay, you're 6 participants, right?
Only 5.
Only 5.
Yes, we are
Okay,
5.
me 6. Okay, no problem. So Talia Zambrano, Melanie Rivera. Could you please raise your hand in a digital one? Tell me, who is Talia Zambrano?
Me teacher.
Okay, thank you. Melanie Rivera.
Me teacher.
Okay. Quintanilla Michelle.
Me teacher.
Ramírez, Calla Ramírez.
Me teacher.
Okay. Rueda Natalie.
Me teacher.
Okay, dear students, sounds interesting your presentation. So who would like to tell me, just raise your hand, tell me teacher, I want to answer. Tell me, which would you recommend teachers to use about all the activities that you have presented? What you should recommend? Do you think it was the funniest way to teach? Funniest way to apply activities?
Maybe the funniest way to apply it is with the outro, because here the students are going to draw, or for example here, if they want to draw, I don't know, a pineapple, the application is going to show, well, a grape. They are going to show, it's like they are drawing at the same time, they are going to try to guess, and also they are going to explain how the visual learning.
So I think that they should be like available when you want to teach vocabulary, right? Yeah, sounds interesting. And another person, thanks a lot, Michelle. What do you think that could be interesting to use when you want to develop activities for writing? Not for drawing, not for teaching vocabulary, but also for writing. For example, I am going to teach you how to write a paragraph, right? So which of these digital resources could be useful?
Well, I think to write maybe the celebrity.com platform, because the students must write the questions, the answers, and they fun because it's games, are games.
Your name is Natalie Rueda, right?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Maybe when you want to practice some pronunciation, if you want to know how students pronounce correctly some words, what of these digital resources could be available? Maybe do you know some of them that maybe needs to record your voice in order to be checked the pronunciation?
Yes, the Duolingo or Benedict, no, or this kind of resources have this function.
Okay, could you show me one? Show me one of them.
Duolingo.
Okay, show me and tell me how.
It's famous. In the past I used Duolingo. In this platform, the Duolingo show an answer, and you record the answer with the correctly pronunciation, and this platform says that is correct or incorrect.
So you can record your voice there?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that sounds interesting. So if you had just listen to this question, because I would like you to analyze. It says that you work for visual learners, right? Visual learning styles for adults. What would happen if you have maybe a person who cannot see clearly because it is a disability person, a visual disability person? So that person is not able to see pictures. What do you think could be the best digital resource for that person? Imagine that you have maybe a classmate who does not see. He cannot see. He's a blind person. But if you would like to help that person, what could be the digital resource you could apply or you could recommend for that person?
Well, if my
I'm
partner
not
is
I think videos.
I'm
Because,
telling you a blind person. Blind. That person cannot see.
audios for
But which digital resource? But it's obviously that you have to use audios, right? Audios. But what kind of digital resource could be helpful for that person?
I think Spotify.
Yeah. Why?
Spotify because this person can listen the audios for learn and receive information.
Okay, that person receives information by means of the Spotify, right?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting, Melanie. Okay, I consider that this topic is interesting because you know that technology just is increasing day after day. So for other people, I think it's the best thing that since the pandemic, right? But tell me, if you are a visual learner, how can you recognize that the person has visual learning? That person is more visual because you know, some people maybe learn more when they see. Okay, they are visual learners. Other people learn by means of audios because they are like just listening something, they learn. And other people are kinesthetic, right? Because they learn by doing things, manipulating things, right? So how can you notice or how can you discover that that person can learn? By looking at pictures, for example. How can you know? Because you're different, right? I would like to listen to Talia Zambrano. Talia Zambrano.
Yes, teacher. Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay. Talia, tell me, how do you learn more? Visual, auditive, or kinesthetic? How do you know you are more visual or you're more auditive or kinesthetic?
I believe kinesthetic because you can
How can you personally? How do you learn?
kinesthetic because it help of the person learn through the movement.
Okay. So how do you learn English, Talia?
For example, eh, actuando, the phrase that you can you write the phrase in English if you the person can you representing this phrase through the actualization.
By acting. Maybe that person likes to learn more acting. I said my question was, personally, according to you, how do you learn more? Are you auditive? Are you kinesthetic? Or you're visual learner? Talia.
Oh, sorry, visual.
You're visual. Okay, you're visual. Okay, Talia. What about you, Melanie? Melanie Rivera.
Me too.
What kind of
Visual.
learner are you?
Visual too.
You're visual too, okay. And you, Miss Michelle.
Yeah, kind of mixture because I can learn in a visual way. For example, when I learn English, I start to reading some comics where I read the words in English and a picture that is related to what they are saying. Also, I am kind of listening because when I in something in Spanish, when I
You're
in the high
auditive,
school,
right?
when I was in high school, I usually understood very well what the teacher says only with listening.
Only by listening, right? Okay, that's right. I'd like to listen to you, Natalie Rueda. What kind of learner are you?
I'm a visual learner because when I read or listen something, I imagine the information or graphics information.
Excellent. And the last one, Maribel Kaya. Tell me, what type of learner are you?
Visual, because when I study, I prefer relate the word with a picture.
Okay, Miss. It was a pleasure for me to listen to you. It was very interesting, your topic, dear students. And I think that that's all you have to show the presentation and you can leave, right? Finished. Okay, good luck, dear students. See you next time.
See you, teacher.
Have an excellent afternoon.
Teacher.
Thank you.
You too, teacher. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Take care.